Okay, some real weird stuff has been going around in the news recently, and if you guys are a regular subscriber or a regular watcher of this channel, you would know that I really don't like to report on, unofficial things, unconfirmed things, all of that type of stuff, but this report has just been so huge and going around so much now that I just felt like I had to report on it. Because again, we don't have, too many official sources. There have been some official sources, but some of them aren't exactly the greatest. But again, I thought I might as well just cover this right now. It is currently being reported that the Minnesota Timberwolves may be listening to trade talks with other teams about Karl-Anthony Towns. It was reported that Warriors GM Bob Myers says that he'll be very aggressive this deadline and could look to potentially trade James Wiseman in a Karl-Anthony Towns swap. It is also being reported that Minnesota can rebuild around a young duo of Anthony Edwards and James Wiseman, while the Warriors will be, solidified with their lineup and continue to make a playoff push. Now, of course, that just sounds so realistic. Like, that just sounds like something that is definitely going to happen. Of course, as I said, there have been some official reports on it. But again, none of the ones that I usually cover, so I didn't really want to, sort of say that they were fully guaranteed. I know some other YouTubers have covered on this, so I thought, might as well. This does sound pretty accurate. Again, I really do believe the Golden State Warriors will be trying to make a huge push for Karl-Anthony Towns. I think what the trade would most likely include would be something like James Wiseman, of course. Eric Pascal would most likely be in there. I think, like, Kelly Oubre, you got to make these contracts, matchups against, again, Eric Pascal, Kelly Oubre, James Wiseman. I'd say probably 2 or 3 future first-round picks, and of course, I think they would, give Minnesota their pick back, which is currently top 3 protected. I think they would make it, again, fully guaranteed to Minnesota. That's what the deal would most likely be. I feel like that's probably the best that the Timberwolves are going to get for a guy who, yes, is probably the 3rd best center in the NBA, but he's just so injured all the time. Like, I feel so bad for Cat. He's one of my favorite players. Used to be one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's 25 years of age now. Does everything right. He's a great leader. 40% consistently from 3 every season. Averaging his 23 to 26 points per game. And 10 rebounds and 4 assists. There's nothing you can really fault about this guy. Except he's just injured all the time. And he can't get on the court. So it is, again, very, very unfortunate for him. I hate to see when he gets injured. But again, even though I think, James Wiseman and Kelly Oubre are really cool assets, and even Eric Pascal, like, he goes underrated too. If you think about it, what the Timberwolves could get back if they were to do this trade would be about, 3 to 4 future first-round picks, I would most likely say. A very young center that plays consistent minutes and consistent games in James Wiseman. Kelly Oubre, who, again, averages 15 and 6 per game as well. He'll be there. Eric Pascal, again, who averages about 10 points per game on 17 minutes. But I feel like on the Timberwolves, who really need a power forward, he'd probably average like 15 per game. So again, he's another player to keep in mind. Jordan Poole might also get thrown into this deal. Again, he's only playing 15 minutes per game, but he's still averaging like 10.4 points per game as well. Has been very underrated this season too, and just not getting the minutes that he probably deserves under Steve Kerr. But in my opinion, I think it's pretty obvious. The Timberwolves will not be trading Karl-Anthony Towns. He is their #1 star. He is their leader. The reason they brought D'Angelo Russell in for this team was to, of course, make Cat more happy. And again, I believe they've played less than 10 games together this season. They've only played like 20 games each. Same with Malik Beasley, who's barely played. I feel like there is a lot to build on this team. In my opinion, I don't think they should trade Cat. Although I do think next year is the breaking point where they just have to say, alright, Culver, we know that, again, you haven't really deserved these minutes, but I just feel like they've got to give Jarrett Culver these minutes soon because, again, it's a make or break. They need that defense that he could provide, as well as I think that if you were to get a power forward in free agency, I think you need to go after like a defensive beast. I think that trading for a player like John Collins would be the best thing. But I think they've got the foundation right now. I really do think that they have a couple of core players that if they build on this, they'll have a very good team. And what I mean by this is Karl-Anthony Towns, Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, and Jarrett Culver. And let's even throw Jared Vanderbilt in there. That's 7 core players, and I think that they'll have some money in free agency, and they'll have another really good pick. Why not go ahead and trade Ricky Rubio, you know, trade Hernan Gomez potentially, go out and get, you know, a nice defensive power forward, and then you could be looking at a team that's like D'Angelo Russell at point guard, Anthony Edwards at shooting guard, Jarrett Culver at small forward, a good defender at power forward, Cat at center, with like Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, that pick, whoever they got, Jared Vanderbilt, and a bunch of players they could go sign free agency. That's starting to look like a pretty decent team. So I think that that's the go. I think that genuinely believe that that's what they should potentially, of course, maybe go and do, because I really, really do like that. I think it is a good foundation. I think that team could potentially make the playoffs, and especially if you were able to keep your first round pick, you've probably got something pretty good going on right now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I don't think they should trade Karl-Anthony Towns, but I do believe that the Warriors should go full steam ahead on trying to get him to the team. I think that, again, you look at that, geez, James Wiseman, Eric Pascal, 3 to 4 first round picks, and Kelly Oubre. It's almost a deal that you can't really knock back. Like, you're pretty much asking yourself, do you want all of these pieces and picks, or do you want a guy that's playing only half the games a season, but is also a great leader, and when he's healthy is one of the best centers in the game? You have to ask yourself the question, and in this point, the Minnesota Timberwolves, you could blow it up right now, get rid of D'Lo, get rid of Ricky Rubio, get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns, but then you're back at square one. It seems like this team is forever stagnated, and is never going anywhere. So, again, it is an issue, and they need to think about how they're going to do this. I think Anthony Edwards, he's currently being one of the best players in the NBA in the last couple of weeks. You got to think to yourself, is he the guy? What are they going to do? Like, I think, again, you could build that big three. Like, imagine if they got to keep their top 5 pick. I think a player like Evan Mobley would be kind of cool. Imagine like you'd have 7-foot Evan Mobley at power forward, who's a pretty good defender. Or you could go after a Jonathan Kuminga, who's like 6'8", can play the power forward position as well. A lot of opportunities right now. Again, they could be looking at. It's going to be really interesting to potentially see how they do, of course, go about this. But, of course, you know, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Do you guys think that the Minnesota Timberwolves should trade Karl-Anthony Towns? Do you guys think that it would be a good deal for them if they got the players that I mentioned today? Do you guys think the Golden State Warriors should, of course, go ahead and potentially trade for Karl-Anthony Towns? Of course, I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlog channels. And don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already. Links for them will all be in the description down below. But as I was saying, to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.